Top 5 Star Wars stories we need in the future. So in this video, I'll be talking about 5 Star Wars stories I think we need in the future of Star Wars, of course. This isn't just films. I want to throw that out there to everyone. It can be anything. It can be a comic. It could be a short story in a Star Wars Insider magazine. It could be a novel or a film. Would I like it to be a film? Of course, but I would be happy with any kind of story. I want to go into honorable mentions first, and these are 3 stories that I've wanted and we've gotten. 2 of them are, and 3 is a story I want. I know we're not going to get for a while because the sequel trilogy needs to end first before we know the origin. So let's just get into that. First on the honorable mentions is Vader directly after Revenge of the Sith. I've wanted this story for so long, and well, it's going to become a comic this June. I'm actually very excited to pick that up and learn about Vader while there's still a little bit of Anakin left inside. Second one is the origins of Grand Admiral Thrawn. We got the origins of Grand Admiral Thrawn in a novel recently, but we don't know what happened before that. We know Thrawn got exiled, but why? I felt like going into that story would be a little cool. That's a story I don't want right now. I could be perfectly fine with them waiting 10 years for this story. We have the origin story for Thrawn in the Empire, so we don't need another origin story for Thrawn right now. The other one is Snoke taking over the First Order. I want to know how this person took over the First Order. Like, I have no clue on how he would, because I'm assuming an Imperial officer would. All those greedy Imperial officers like Grand Admiral Race alone. If Thrawn made it alive, why didn't Thrawn take over the remains of the Empire? So I don't know. Going into that story would be very interesting. So without further ado, let's get into the top 5 Star Wars stories I want to see in the future. Number 5.
Sir.
A Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan story. This story would obviously take place before Episode 1. And I basically want to get into Obi-Wan's teachings as a Jedi Padawan because, well, Qui-Gon was a very unique kind of Jedi. He wasn't on the Jedi Council, and there's many reasons why, because he didn't agree with everything the Jedi stood for. He felt like it's his own path. People even classify him as a Grey Jedi in the old canon, because the new canon, there's no such thing as Grey Jedi. So, seeing Qui-Gon's viewpoints would be pretty cool. Like, kind of he's in the middle. I'm pretty sure, in the Legends, I'm pretty sure he agreed with having relationships. Don't quote me on that, I'm not sure, but it'll be very interesting to see Qui-Gon teach Obi-Wan, seeing Obi-Wan disagree with Qui-Gon in some things, like, because, well, Obi-Wan wanted to be the perfect Jedi, and Qui-Gon wasn't exactly that, so I don't know. Seeing that viewpoint from both sides would be very cool as a story.
You were right about one thing, Master. The negotiations were short.
Number 4.
Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Sidious. I want to basically see a remake, not a remake of the Darth Plagueis novel, but like kind of a rebirth of it, but excluding Plagueis as the main character. I want Darth Sidious to be the main character, and I want Plagueis to be like thrown into the story 3/4 through and have Plagueis take Sidious. Like, I want to see Sidious as a child. In the old Legends, he killed his parents. I want to see that. I want to see Plagueis basically come in halfway through the novel and basically say, hey, come join me. I know you can use the dark side. You will be a great apprentice. And yeah, basically that. And of course, I would like to have it end when Sidious kills Plagueis. Basically a remake of the Darth Plagueis novel, excluding all of the Darth Plagueis and his master story, and him being alone, because I want it centered on Sidious or Palpatine. 2 are the same. So yeah, let's get into my top 3, the first ones I thought of and the ones I really want. Number 3.
Ahsoka! I brought help!
Maul.
So Darth Maul. Darth Maul escaped Darth Sidious's capture in the Clone Wars. We know what happened to him afterwards from a comic, but after that, somehow he ended up on Malachor, a planet that he used to go to with his master Darth Sidious when Darth Sidious was teaching him. I made a video on that if you want to check that out. But how did he get to Malachor, and what did he do in between 3 and 4? Rebels Season 2 takes place, I believe, 3 years before A New Hope? So that's 16 years. What happened to Maul in that 16 years? I want to know. Because he didn't just live on Malachor those 16 years. I mean, he might have, but that would make for a really boring story and kind of just like throwing it out there. Like, whatever, he just lived there. That's just lazy writing. I want to see how he got there, how he got stranded there. I don't know, I feel like that would make for a very interesting story arc for Darth Maul, and we could kind of go more in depth on his character because, well, we haven't seen that much of Darth Maul in the canon. In the old canon, there were 3 novels written about him, so a lot of people could go into depth on his character and learn about his character. Learn how he acts, stuff like this. At the moment, all we have is the Clone Wars, Rebels, and the current comic series to go with for how we understand Darth Maul as a character. So I would like to expand on that with him having a novel in between 3 and 4. Number 2.
I've waited 30 years for this.
The First Order Origins. Ironic, isn't it? That's my number 2 spot. Anyway, at the moment, all we know about the First Order is that after the Battle of Jakku, certain Imperials fled to the unknown regions, and only certain Imperials were chosen. This list was made by, I think, Gallius Rax, who took over the Empire after Sidious died. And all of these Imperials went to Palpatine's secret Superstar Destroyer, the Eclipse. Legends fans will recognize that name, but we do not know if it's the same Eclipse as the one we saw in Legends, so just remember that. So, just seeing how the First Order began in general, because the First Order is very different from the Empire. The First Order is basically the rebellion of the Empire. They're, secretive, they're heartless, stuff like that. I know in Aftermath Empire's End, I read and I did a review on my channel, Gallius Rax trains a new generation of stormtroopers, which will later become First Order stormtroopers, and one of them is actually rumored to be Captain Phasma, because she has blonde hair. And her and General Hux as a child had a really awkward moment, so I think the writer, Chuck Wendick, was hinting that that was Phasma. But they were trained to be very, very aggressive. Use every part of their body, biting people, ripping people apart, stuff like that, like next level stuff. So having the First Order origins and learning what they became would be really cool. And who knows? Maybe even Grand Admiral Thrawn made his way to the Eclipse and took over the Empire while Snoke was waiting to slide in. And finally, number 1. Anakin Skywalker's story after Ahsoka Tano left the Jedi Order. Oh, Anakin. We've had a lot, and I mean a lot of Anakin stories, so a lot of people probably won't agree with this, but I want to see this final Anakin story. We know how Anakin turned to the dark side. We know everything that led up to that moment. We saw it in the Clone Wars, for crying out loud. We saw his turn. We saw him getting more and more aggressive over time, which I loved, by the way. So just seeing this one last time, we only have one really piece of storytelling to go into Anakin's mindset after Ahsoka left the Jedi Order, and that's Season 7 clip, which I'll play a short clip of right now.
I'll contact Ahsoka. Maybe she can...
Anakin?
Forget about it. She's gone.
Anakin, do you want to talk about it?
What's there to talk about?
Nothing, I suppose. It's... Anakin, dwelling on Ahsoka's decision won't bring her back.
I miss her, okay? Is that what you wanted me to say? I still can't understand how she could have left the Order.
It was a surprise decision to all of us.
It was wrong. She's a Jedi. She belongs with us. She's one of us.
She made the decision, Anakin.
Well, what choice did we give her? The moment there were any suspicions about her loyalty, the Council turned their back on her.
You can't take responsibility for Ahsoka's decision, Anakin.
How would you feel if I turned into a major disappointment?
It's not the same.
It's precisely the same. You took me under your wing and practically raised me. I'm your Padawan, just like Ahsoka was mine. How well would you sleep knowing I failed you?
Not very well, I imagine. Luckily, that isn't true. And never will be.
Just seeing Anakin broken and just depressed, like, that actually be really cool. Him turning slowly and slowly more to the dark side over time. We saw it first with his mother dying, then with the Clone Wars, everything that happened in the Clone Wars, the short little stories like Obi-Wan, quote-unquote, dying. Him dealing with the slave traders and him getting memories of that back. Him dealing with the sun on Mortis, the Mortis arc. I forget that the planet's actually called Mortis. but that arc itself, stuff like that. Him battling with Count Dooku, him Palpatine teasing Anakin just more and more over time, and finally what broke him was Padme. But there's also another piece to this puzzle, which is Ahsoka leaving him. In Rebels, he basically hints that Ahsoka, another reason why he turned to the dark side. So, I don't know, just seeing Anakin in his mindset right after Ahsoka Tano leaving would be a really good and interesting story. Would it lead to more emo Anakin stories? Yes, but emo Anakin is how he became Darth Vader, so you can't hate on that. So yeah, these are 5 Star Wars stories I want in the future, and actually really want the last 3. Hope you all enjoyed this video. What Star Wars story do you want? Do you want something I didn't say in this video? Comment down below. Or, if you agree with my points, comment which one was your favorite. I'd love to know, and discuss it with you in the comments. So yeah, hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like, blast a like, and all that good stuff. And if you are new, subscribe for all things Star Wars. The First Order, signing out.